So before we begin, I would just like to shout out my patrons: Dudley Reiner, Crimson, Consular, Ten, Tamacus Whitewood, Jonah Rodriguez, Nude Banner, and Ariel Kersey. I'm very much grateful for your support, and if any of you want to support me on Patreon, you can always find the link in the description below. Hey guys, I'm Naya, and welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, I decided to do banlist predictions again. So it's basically like an updated banlist prediction video, because I have one from about a month back, but we never received a banlist, and probably it's coming before YCS Niagara, but again, it just might not be, and it's just wishful thinking at this point. But like, to be very brief about this topic, I don't necessarily think we need a ban list that much when it comes to some of the best decks, but there are actually some other cards and issues that should be addressed. So when it comes to that, yes, we need a ban list, but with Sprite and Tearlament just coming out, spoiler, I don't think anything is going to happen to them, because it just wouldn't be a move that will make sense in terms of just profit for the company. So there's that. Let me know what you think about my predictions, my updated ones, and yeah, without any further ado, let's just get right into it. For the unlimited cards, we have you'll see a couple of them are the same, but a couple did change. So I still have Fusion Destiny. I think Fusion Destiny is coming to 3. Is the only thing that makes sense, because what I think the approach is going to be with this ban list, we are going to get some cards back. Some cards that are going to make the game even more broad in terms of like actual competitive stuff, because if we get a lot of cards back to boost a lot of archetypes, then there's going to be even more diversities. And because of that, I think Fusion Destiny should be at 3 moving forward, because it's just another card with Destroy Phoenix Enforcer to be added to the metagame, and people can still play this and include it in something like a Sky Striker strategy or any other one that would just get boosted by that. So hopefully this makes sense. And the next one is going to be Dynamite Knight. Like, it's kind of obvious at this point, Shujeko is not doing anything without Masterpiece, and Dynamite can safely come to 3 because it was put at 2, I should say. So at 3, it wouldn't make much of a difference. And then the last one is, no, sorry, it isn't actually the last one. The next one is just Trickster Light Stage. It went to 2. And I think it is going to be going to 3. Lightstage has a busted second effect as well. So people shouldn't underestimate, people shouldn't forget about the second effect of this card, because it's insane. And overall, Trickster as an engine has always been very, very strong, not just as a deck. So that's something to keep in mind if it actually does go to 3. It was played in Sprite. We've seen a couple builds with the Trickstar package, so that's really, really cool. And then we have Wall of Revealing Light. Like, I just figured because it went to 2, and I don't think a random trap card like that is going to do anything horrible. So putting Wall of Revealing Light to 3, I think, would make a lot of sense. And then the card I was like, sort of considering why it's still on the ban list, because Master Plan is banned, is Spiral Resort. And I mentioned it in the last predictions video as well, but I'm pretty sure I put it to 2 on the last one, but I think it can go to 3 and nothing would really change. Quick Fix is still at 1, and with Master Plan banned, I don't think the power is there for Spiral. And then moving on to the semi-limited stuff, we have Monkey Board, because it went to 1 and didn't do anything, so it being a 2 I don't think would be an issue. And the next one is Astrograss Sorcerer. Again, pretty much the same thing goes for it as well, as long as we don't have Electromite, which I still think we won't be getting it, and even if we do, it's going to go to 1 immediately. And like, I don't know, like right now without it, Pendulum stuff is not going to be doing anything, I think. And for the next 2 cards, I decided to put Retovir Auramesir and Water Enchantress to 2. I think it's a hit that makes a lot more sense than in the previous one. I put Water Enchantress to 1, but that's not that great, because if you put Rite of Auramesir to 1, Water Enchantress can still be interacted with cards like Ghostbell and just Ash and a lot of different cards, and it's easier to hit it than hitting Rite of Auramesir, so it will make sense to limit it. But I still don't think the engine is as omnipresent as it used to be. I mean, it's great in Dragon Link, for example, and it's also great in Adventure Synchro, but both of these decks, even though they might do well with like one person piloting the strategy, they don't see that big representation. But overall, the adventure stuff is still played, like you see it in Sprite, for example, and those sort of variants. So I think it should be addressed, but maybe slowly at the beginning. So Then we go to limited, and for the first one is just Public of Judgment because of OCG. Like, we saw from there that it's not going to be doing anything, and yeah, granted our format is not the same, but still I don't think we should be worried about Public of Judgment right now. And then we have O-Line and Glow Up Bulb, so that's very obvious what the banned card might be when it comes to my list, but both of them I think should go to 1 if Hulky Fiber-X gets banned. I still think Steam the Cloak might be a bit too much. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just think the effect is a slightly better. So I'm a bit scared of putting this one to 1, but maybe it's just the same as O-Lion and Glow Up Bulb. Then for the next one, I actually decided to put Colossus and Harp Horror. I sort of started omitting them from my Banlist predictions because I just didn't see them actually coming back ever. But this is the sort of trend I think they're going to be going for. I think they're just going to return cards and make even more strategies viable to have an even more diverse format. Colossus is a very scary boss monster, but right now we have so many different outs to Colossus that it's just not a threat anymore. And 1 Harp I think is now going to boost Orcus to the level it used to be at. And yeah, in sort of the same fashion, I think we could be getting Block Dragon to 1. Again, a very, very scary feeling or thought, I guess, but we don't have Union Carrier. And yeah, I do think Fiber is getting banned, and Fiber is very important for the Adamantia strategy. So like, overall, Block Dragon, yeah, can be searched with like Golan Granite and stuff like that, but you can hit that. Like, it's not that bad if it's at 1. So I think it might happen. And for the last one, I think mine is going to 1. I don't think they're banning it, and I talk about Mystic Mine a lot on my channel, as a lot of us do at this point in time, but you probably know by now that my sort of thoughts and opinions on Mystic Mine are that the card itself and the effect of it is not an issue, but the amount of copies we have in the game available to us. So I think they are going to be limiting it, but I guess we'll just see. And then for the ban cards, I already spoiled Fiber, just a very obvious one. I think it's too much at this point. We have had it in the game for a very, very long time now, and I think it's time for it to just go and sort of make space for different stuff. I think pretty much everything that could be explored with Fiber, it was. So there's that. And then we have Artifact Scythe. Oh, banned. I think Scythe should go. Scythe is the actual issue. Yes, Dagda gets to it, but if there's no Scythe, there's nothing for Dagda to get to, and I just genuinely dislike cards like this, and I think it should just simply be banned. Even though right now it's not exactly doing that much as it used to do, but when you have almost every single deck being capable of side locking, I think it's just too much. And for the last card, I decided to choose Barrier Statue. So I strongly dislike Flunder. You probably know this by now about me, but I just pretty much despise the deck, as a lot of us do probably, and I thought about how the deck should be hit because I think it should be, and the first thought that comes to mind, and that's very, very biased, is I would love for Dimension Shifter to just be banned and never return to the game ever, but that's not a really realistic thing to happen just because it hurts tier limit. So with Exosister and Flunder and decks that can actually utilize Shifter, I think it's fair that they are sort of able to use it against a very dominant deck. But when it comes to Flunder, they're a dominant deck by itself. And I think the actual real issue that makes it so that you can't even attempt to go up against them is the Barrier Statue. Like, we always, like, as a community, I think, joke about how Garura should be a wind, so you're actually able to break a Flunder board, but it's not. And the Barrier Statue is a huge issue, and I think it's the first step to sort of addressing a deck that's way too dominant for it just doing a couple stupid things and just locking you out of playing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm very satisfied with the predictions this time around as well. Let me know what you think, and let me know when you actually think the ban list might be dropping, if it's going to be before Niagara or after. So yeah, if you like the video, like it, sub to the channel, check out all the social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!